Hello guys and welcome to another episode of the Donkcast, and today we're gonna the hype has finally come. No, we need to start that again. That was terrible. Hello guys and welcome to another episode of the Donkcast. Now the hype is finally over. We have our results from the internationals in Sao Paulo, and we have some controversy to go with it. We have a meta that is roughly been defined. We asked and we begged and we pleaded for Lost March to do well. Zoroark GX said no. We asked and we begged and we pleaded for Grand Bull GX to do, or Grand Bull regular to do well. It did not. Zoroark said no. And then we said, well, surely, Ninetales. No, Zoroark said no to that as well. But at least we didn't have to see a Zoroark control mirror. But before we get into all that, everybody's here. Say hello, guys.
Hi, guys.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, I'm here. Hello, everyone.
How are you guys?
Good. You?
I'm not so bad. I'm excited to talk about some of these new decks. But before we get into that, what's everybody been playing? How's everybody's week been going?
I played two different decks on Thursday, actually. I tried my hand deck again, and I won again. So it's two games now that I've won with hand. Trying to think. Because I changed that about a wee bit. I took out the aqua patches, and I took out a couple other things, and put in more sort of shuffle in cards, rather than... Because I thought if I discard energy and then use aqua patch to attach and blah 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 blah, it was BS. So I put in more sort of shuffle energy back in, shuffle Pokemon back in, shuffle supporters back in. You name it, it didn't matter. They would shuffle in. And then I played the cup deck from Dundee and done absolute hee-haw again. So yeah, I don't know what I want to play anymore. That's sort of my week in a whole. I have been having.
You've learned that you're freaking done with Malamar.
Yeah, I feel like I'm at a point now where I'm like, do I even understand how to play this game?
I've been there.
Only one of us is allowed a crisis of conscience at one time. Come on now. Stop coming round to my corner here.
Right, well, isn't it about time someone else had a crisis?
No! I'm still in the middle of my crisis.
Alright, okay, fine, I'll put a hold on. Right, how's your crisis going?
Tell us about your crisis.
Oh, no, I don't really have a crisis. I'm just kidding. No, like last week I was playing Sceptile, and he's a good boy. He has stage 2 problems, like many stage 2 dysfunction, we'll call it. Like several stage 2 decks, and the problem is on a Thursday night, man, playing best of one, when you get hit with that stage 2 dysfunction, there's nothing you can do, and that's just what happened. But he did what he was meant to do, and he is a good boy. I can't complain. But it just, something wasn't sitting right with me last week, and I don't know what it was. That's the crisis we're talking about. Like, I don't know what was going on. The deck I was really enjoying. I still love Sceptile. I think he's great. We were all having a laugh and stuff like that. But I don't know. There was just something off last week. So hopefully it'll be better this week.
Yeah, here's hoping, man. What about you, Al? In fact, no. Right, before we go on, Al. This is a disclaimer. Before Al tells us about the deck he played on Thursday night, that the views of Al's deck doesn't reflect the views of the rest of the channel, and we do not recommend you play this deck anywhere. It's disgusting. But Al, how was your deck? How did you play?
I played a very fun deck that was very enjoyable, and everybody liked it and had a very nice time.
Well, I didn't play you, Al. What did you play?
I did. Still salty.
I played Greninja GX, featuring Shuckle GX, featuring, more importantly, Ditto Prism Star, Evo Shock Raichu, and Celebi Prism.
It was disgusting.
It makes really fun games where you can put an energy on your Celebi, play some Frogadiers, play a wee Raichu, and paralyze your opponents. Then use Celebi's attack, lift all those evolution cards off, and do it again every turn. And that makes it a very fun and interactive game, and that everybody enjoys. Especially me.
I thought I was doing really well against it. I thought I had like built up enough like steam to just go right over the top of it, and suddenly I just found myself in a spot where I was like, I lose this game. I don't know what to do, and I just had to lose, and it was slow and painful, and I lost.
Yeah, but you lost in like a wee kind of fun game before the actual Thursday night tournament started.
Yes. I did beat it in the actual tournament. However, I did not deserve that win in the slightest. That was like the both of us, like we got to a stage where the both of us just bricked, and we just were. It was like the first one to find a Guzma wins the game, and we just literally like drew past until that happened. It was dumb.
The kind of game you can get when you whiff 3 super scoop ups.
Yeah. I think
so that's the one thing about the deck that isn't fun.
I think you whiffed something like 5 out of 6 against me that like over those 2 games. It was dumb.
Yeah, it was.
The luck on that was dumb. I should have lost that game every single time. It was dumb. But yeah, I managed to eke out a victory there, but there was no honor in it.
Well, anyway, it was a pretty fun first pass for the deck.
Oh, first and last, I hope. I'm done with that deck.
So I can work on it a little bit.
We
get running a little bit, huh?
Apart from getting a single win online with Unknown Hand, and that was the only win I ever need with it. I got the win, that's fine. I may make a video, we'll see. Different deck to Jacob's, I use a Zoroark build to trade away metal energies and bring them back with what's that card? Mount Coronet. Yeah. And the only supporters I was really using was Lady and Fisherman. My thought being, you don't really want to use How all the time because you could get 4 cards with a Lady, and then towards the end of the game, you've traded so many energies away, you need to Fisherman them back. So you were getting more cards with that. Like the trades, I was getting crazy amounts of cards with, so I was having to trade 4 metal energies a turn to then fisher them in them all back. So it worked out better for me doing it like that. And I finished the game with 43 cards in hand. So I was ecstatic by that. I've literally not picked up the game since. I was just like, no, that's it. I'm done. And I don't even think I've played a game since then. No, I've not played a game since then. I was just like, I'm done. I have retired to play Pokemon Let's Go. And I did build my Tapu Koko Giratina spread deck for League on Thursday, which was really good. I actually won the whole thing with it 3-0. So I'm probably going to end up playing that again this week, mainly because I've not really built anything else yet. I toyed about with a Gardevoir list, but I'm now going to look at some of the lists that came out of regionals, internet, to see what I'm going to do with Gardevoir, because I mean, it had a good showing. Like every time I put on stream, it seemed to be some sort of Ninetales deck was there, but it wasn't. I think there was only one in day 2 that featured Gardevoir, and that was Robin Schulz that played that, and it was a really, really good deck, to be fair. But I don't have the Solgaleo for it, so we'll see what I'm doing with that. But yeah, here there was an Unknown Hand at Internet.
Oh, was there?
Yes.
Where did it finish?
It finished in 30th place. It was Steelix Hoopum Denial that did feature 1 copy of Unknown Hand. And as far as I'm aware, I think I seen the guy post on Verbank or something like that, or on Twitter, and he was something like 707. I think he was like undefeated entirely, but he got like loads of draws. So obviously, like he didn't feature in like the top cut or anything like that. But finished 30th place, and he had an Unknown Hand in his deck. I'm not 100% sure how many times he used it, but it was in his deck.
I want to say all his 7 wins were with Unknown Hand.
Or the opponent stopped playing, picked up his cards, and walked out the door. Because after, we talked about Dundee last week. But after the two stall decks at Dundee last week, that was what I wanted to do. It was literally just pick up my stuff and go home, because it was frustrating, man. Especially playing a spread deck. But yeah. Another thing I wanted to talk about was the controversy at internets, and that was that during the Masters final, we didn't actually get a Masters final. The final was meant to be a Zoro Control mirror. I kind of joked about that at the start. You know, we asked for all these new decks, and we got Zoro Control as first and what was second place. But they played, I think, 1 or 2 new cards, nothing crazy. They played like Professor's Elm and Ditto Prism Star. I think that was literally all the new cards from Lost Thunder. You know, we wanted all these new archetypes, and we get Zoroark again. Fantastic. But yeah, apparently the guy, now, not saying he did, but apparently allegedly he was cheating. He was stacking the deck. It looks from the evidence from his top 4 match against, was it Nicholas Galaz? Was that his name?
Yeah, that's the guy.
He basically looked as if he was stacking an Alolan Muck to the top of his deck, offered it to his opponent to cut. His opponent didn't cut, and he, lo and behold, drew an Alolan Muck and was disqualified. Pretty saucy stuff. Now, from what I've read, I've tried to look up some of the stuff on Warbank, but obviously Pokemon won't put out a statement on this. They've not done it for anyone else. They really just want to sweep this under the rug and just be like, nope, that Grand Bull deck, it was all your imagination. It actually got second place. The final didn't actually happen. We just kind of decided that Daniel Altavilla won. Well done to Daniel Altavilla, by the way, because it was a pretty awesome tournament. And from what I've seen of it already, I've still to watch day 2. But what the matches that I've watched were really interesting to watch. A lot of fun. Zoro Control's the most boring deck in the world to watch, but we won't go into that. Yes, but what I've kind of read is that they don't just assume cheating. They suspect cheating first, and then they watch you like a hawk. And then when they see you cheating, that's when you get kicked out. But it's not that they've taken this possible cheating, stacking on a Alolan Muck to the top of the deck. They've seen him in previous rounds, thought, is he cheating? Probably. Let's have a look at this. Let him get to top 4, let him win top 4, and then kicked him out, which I think is freaking bizarre, to be honest. But either way about it, we didn't get a final in the Masters division. We got, it was handed to Daniel Altavilla. Whatever. Pretty crazy, man. We were talking about this before we came on, and there was some interesting points. Jacob, you said you watched it and saw some pretty sketchy behaviour through the entire thing, yeah?
Mostly at the start, yeah. But like I'd said, at the time when I was watching it, I thought, you know what? Maybe it's just because of the camera angle. Like, I'm not sitting there. If I'm being honest, I probably would have asked him to shuffle again had I been judging it. But that is just from what I personally saw from the video. So I can only go by that. I mean, I don't know if they've got more footage, if they've got other camera angles that we didn't see.
Yeah.
We don't know what's happened earlier in the day. We don't know. Do you know what I mean? There's just so much. There's so much going on at it. But after watching it live, I was like, okay, he played well, whatever. He won the game. It was a good game to watch. I enjoyed it. Bit suspicious, but hey, whatever. And then it wasn't till after I read that he got disqualified, I went back and watched it. And that's when I noticed that specifically, that is the only time he shuffles like that. If you then watch him the entire rest of the match, he shuffles completely differently.
The
after
turn
that.
He took the Alolan Muck was the only turn. Yeah.
It's the only turn. He takes so much care with that half shuffle, and he does it a lot. He does it over and over and over again. Whereas every other shuffle, he riffle shuffles and then hands it over. And he maybe only does it 2 or 3 times. Like, he doesn't spend so much time with the dramatics of doing this shuffle, and that's what made me suspicious. And you know what? Maybe did he do it? I say yes, personally, but That's my own opinion.
As you would expect, he came out on, I think it was Verdbank, he posted
He
this
did.
and was saying about how it wasn't true and he didn't cheat and all that kind of stuff. And to be fair, you can see whether he did or didn't, why he would do that. Because if he's innocent, then it sucks. But if he did do it, then obviously he doesn't want to be labelled a cheater going forward and so on and so forth, even though he potentially is. Whether he did it or not, Pokemon have obviously decided that there's enough evidence that they believe he has done it. Jacob, you're a judge and all that stuff. So if you're saying that from what you saw on the stream that you think that he's done it, then all these signs are pointing to the fact that he probably did cheat.
Yeah.
In which case, he's got exactly what he deserves. But it's just such a black eye for the game.
One thing I would say, like with the he's not banned. I'm sure now. Don't quote me on this, but I'm sure when was it Michael Long his name?
Yeah,
the guy that
Lap Greninja.
Yeah, the guy that at regionals put a Greninja break on his lap and it suddenly just appeared into the He, as far as I'm aware, didn't get banned instantly. He was removed from the regional and told he'd been disqualified, but he didn't actually get banned for a few weeks after. So it might be that this guy isn't banned yet. It might be that he never gets banned. But the fact that he wasn't even allowed to play out his finals match, as Ian says, I think there's probably a lot more evidence than what we've seen. But like I said right at the start, this Pokemon aren't going to tell us how frustrating is that. We all want to know. Come on, man. But yeah, it's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah, it just sucks that such a good tournament with loads of interesting decks and things like that ended in this kind of way. I mean, it sucks that it was going to end in a Zoro Control mirror, but it sucks that we didn't even get a final. And I don't understand why you would get to that point. You're on stream, there's judges right next to you and all that kind of stuff. Why would you even chance it? If you've got away with it earlier in the day when you weren't on stream and when people aren't watching or whatever, it doesn't make it right. But in that situation, it's not even worth the risk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like John said earlier. Like he's running a relatively good, like the deck is good. It clearly works. I mean, he got to top 4. So why take the chance in cheating? There was so many other ways he could have got the Alolan Muck without cheating. Yeah. So that's why it's annoying me.
I mean, looking at obviously we can't see his list, but looking at Altavilla's list, right? You've got the one Alolan Muck and one Ditto Prism. The guy, his name was Pedro something. He got Professor Elm turn 1 off of a Lele, got his Zoroa and Ditto Prism down. So he was pretty set to go as far as turn 1 goes. When the turn came back to him, that was when he went in and he was looking through and he noticed the I could be messing this up, but basically the Alolan Muck came out that turn, in fact. Yeah. So he got the Pokemon off his Professor Elm, but his hand had like Zoroark, it had DCE, and it had Guzma. Now, even if you didn't have that great a hand, you shuffle up whatever your top deck is, you trade it away, try and get into something like an Ultra Ball, another Zoroark. You know what I mean? Like make plays, because even getting your second Tapu Lele is fine so that you can Cynthia out of that. It's so easy to find the Alolan Muck. And if the Alolan Muck is that serious, you're probably gonna get it and you're probably gonna win the game. Like it's Granbull gets shut down pretty hard by Alolan Muck. Do you know what I mean? Like it sucks that Granbull's tried to come onto the scene and folk have went, oh, well, we should really just play Alolan Muck then, shouldn't we? Do you know what I mean? And it's as simple as that. It seems so favourable for a Zoroark control deck to beat a Granbull deck.
Yeah.
Like, it's so dumb that he cheated. Like, just play it out. Like, you're probably going to win.
I think, to be truly honest, I think what's annoying me is that people seem to be wanting to blame his opponent for not cutting his deck. Like they're like,
Yeah.
oh,
I've seen a few of those.
Oh yeah, they're all over it, but they're all Brazilian players.
It
They're all
doesn't
like,
matter where they're from. At the end of the day, like
you
it's
can't blame the opponent. I'm sorry, he
you're
still cheats.
you have to, as a player, randomize your deck sufficiently. That is the rule. You, as a player, after performing an action, have to significantly randomize your deck. Right? You have to randomize it sufficiently that you get a random card off of the top of your deck. That is the rule. The fact that, like, because he said in his post on Verbank, he said something along the lines of, it's a shame that I got kicked out because of a bad shuffle, is what he called it, right? Now, I'm sorry, but a bad shuffle is the same as not randomizing your deck properly. It's the same goddamn thing.
What even is a bad shuffle?
A bad shuffle is when you put one card to the top of your deck and don't shuffle it in.
Well, exactly, right? But like seriously, how can you turn around and go a bad shuffle? Like if you're shuffling badly, then shuffle better. You're in control of that. You know what I mean?
Get good, son.
Just shuffle a few more times.
You're in the top 4 of the freaking Latin American International Championship. 630 masters showed up to this tournament, and you are the top 4. Yes, there's money on the line, right? But by getting that far, you're guaranteeing yourself more than you paid to get there. Do you know what I mean? You've done well. You don't need to win the entire thing just for a buck. Like, if that's what it's all about and it's all about money, then does it matter? Like, it's so frustrating. It's just so frustrating. I'm actually so annoyed by this whole story because it's just so ridiculous.
The one thing, like, for anybody listening out there who maybe hasn't been to even League Cups, but certainly like regionals and stuff like that, Wassy did an interesting video about cheating and whether it's a problem, and he's arguing that it's not. And John, you and I had a wee chat about it, and I think we kind of said that he's maybe looking at it a little bit rose tinted. But the one piece of advice coming out of that video that he harped on about was shuffle your opponent's deck and none of this happens. Now that does not excuse what he did, and it certainly doesn't place the blame on what was the guy's name? Is it Nicholas Gillas?
Yeah.
In no way is it his fault what happened, but in order to protect yourself, shuffle your opponent's deck.
Well, at the end of the day, this has happened, and Pokemon's response to this, like, because they knew a day in advance of the final, their response to this was to hand the finalist that hadn't cheated, Daniel Altavilla, they handed him first place. He did not play a final match. Now, had his opponents before him shuffled his deck properly for him, and he then couldn't cheat his way to victory, maybe he doesn't finish second place or top 2. Do you know what I mean? Maybe he doesn't make it to the final, but we have a final. Do you know what I mean? Like, regardless, we have a final. So, yeah, definitely shuffle your opponent's deck, or at least freaking cut it. Like, what I like to do is cut my opponent's deck a little bit, cut it a lot, or cut it halfway. I do one of the 3. Because then that way, there's no chance that my opponent can manipulate their deck in such a way that when I cut it, they know where it's supposed to be cut or something daft like that. Because I've heard of that happening. Like, your opponent gives you the deck in almost like 2 halves, and then you just take the half off, and then whatever they wanted at the top of the deck is still at the top of the deck. But I just pick it randomly. Do you know what I mean? Or take one card off your opponent's top of your opponent's deck and put it to the bottom. Do something like that. Just don't just give them it back. It's just not worth it. Because there's going to be someone trying this. It's pathetic, really.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let's move on. Let's move on to a happier place, and that is International Sao Paulo. We're talking a lot about this week. We talked about it even last week because we were all excited about it. And then Zoro Control won the entire thing, and now we're all left with a sour taste in our mouths. However, we do have some new deck lists to talk about, and yep, we're going to have to start with Daniel Altavilla's winning list, Zoro Control. Now, I'm kind of glad that we didn't have to watch Zoroark Mirror, because that would have been one match that lasted an hour and didn't ever end. It would have been the most boring match ever. How do you beat ZoroControl with ZoroControl without falling asleep?
A good question is, how do you beat ZoroControl? Because it's so dominant and it's so hard to get past. Yeah. Like, I mean, I know obviously it's not like it's all of the top 8 or anything, but if you just look at Altavilla's list and you see that Caleb Gedimer, Joey Ruetiger, Michael Pramawat, Jimmy Pendarvis, who are some of the best players in the world, the worst of those was 33rd.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're all in the top 33 playing this deck, and it's clearly dominant. It's clearly extremely good, but you're absolutely right, man. It's just so boring.
It's dull. It kind of makes me want to play it because it's that good. But like, I kind of want to enjoy my games. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, like, the other thing that really strikes me about this is there is such a high skill cap on this.
Yeah.
It looks really simple, but I imagine that those guys have tested this for hours. They've played hundreds, if not thousands of matches. Because, like, I don't think that we could pick this up and play it the way that they played it. You know what I mean? I think
we would need to play this for a full format until we get used to it.
Tons and tons of practice at it, because like when they're playing the resource management Rangaroo, and they're always picking up the right cards and things like that. It's so advanced, and it's that aspect of it's really impressive to watch. But nothing else happens in the game. I'm going to counter catcher up the thing with the highest retreat cost. I'm going to take away one of your energy, and I'm going to resource management, and that's kind of it.
Yeah. Looking at some interesting cards in his deck, he did play. It was the resource management, as you were talking about. It was so important that he played 2, which we've not really seen. Really, it's been one Oranguru or bust. We see a 1/1 Mud-Cargo line. Ditto Prism Star serves as a second Slugma in the matches that you don't need a Alolan Muck. One of Alolan Muck, which is a card that should see more play, arguably. Alolan Muck is got the ability that shuts off basic Pokemon's abilities. However, a lot of the good abilities we have are on stage 1s. It does, however, shut off Tapu Lele. Do you know what I mean? So shutting off Tapu Lele is obviously fantastic. Shutting off Baby Oranguru is fantastic. Even shutting off Ditto Prism Stars noticeable. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of good stuff that comes from playing Alolan Muck. We see one of Articuno GX there for the GX attack to come in and discard all energies off your opponent's active Pokemon for the GX attack for 1 energy is absolutely insane. 1 limitation Sableye, which is just freaking disgusting. I think it was Joey Ruetiger. I think I seen him play this deck, and he literally just got in a situation where he could just limitation for like 14 turns in a row and win the game. It was disgusting. Like, the opponent needed to like Guzma out of the situation, and he was just like, nope. It was horrible. Apart from Ditto Prism Star, we see 1 brand new card from Lost Thunder, and that was a 4 of Professor Elm's Lecture. Coming back, just like it was in Zoroark decks before with Bridget, we're seeing Professor Elm's Lecture. Not a surprise there. And then it was just a whole lot of hate. Plumerias, Skull Grunts, even a Sorola, Gladion, Crushing Hammer, and Handstammer. Yep. Lysander's Labs. All cards that make you not play the game. Absolutely fantastic. And then a grand total of 5 energies, 2 rainbows, and 3 double colorless. The deck was so cheeky, it didn't even play 4 double colorless. Now, I'm sorry, but that's just rude. Like, it gets to the point that is just plain rude. Fantastic deck, obviously, but what more can you say other than resource management pass?
I just would hate to have to play this. Like, I play against this.
Oh, it's horrible.
I'm
done with these stall decks. I'm totally done.
I mean, I guess the one thing that comes out of this is, for all the Lost Thunder hype, for all the, Lost March, Blacephalon, whatever it was, the best card in the set at the minute is Elm's Lecture, because it's setting up probably the best deck that's running around right now, if you know how to play it and you've had enough time to practice it.
There's Elm's Lecture, and there's also Ditto Prism Star.
Well, yeah, so those in conjunction are probably the two best cards at the minute coming out of this set for all the GXs and things like that we've been talking about, and how there's going to be all these new archetypes and how it's going to be great and stuff like that. I guess the message is that since it came out in Shining Legends, Zoroark's been the best card in the format, and it probably still is.
Look, before the set even came out, we picked a card that was the best card in the set, right? We didn't pick Professor Elm's Lecture. We picked Ditto Prism Star, boy.
Yep.
There you go, man.
I love the flexibility Ditto gives it, but Ditto itself, it's just another thing that makes Zoroark better.
Yeah, it's a fifth Zoro.
It's or the Slugma or the Grimer. It just all goes together to make what has been the best card, again, the best card. It's survived when Buzzwole was everywhere. It survived Buzzgarb Shrine decks. It survived basically Rayquaza, but pretty much anything you want to throw at it that's been touted as, oh, this is going to be the new best deck, this is going to be amazing, blah, blah, blah. Zoroark's just seeing off them all.
There's one argument that I was seeing a bit on Twitter as well, and it was, does Zoroark GX need a ban? Now, I don't.
That's interesting.
The Zoroark GX card itself wasn't the card in question. It was more the Zoroark Control deck as a whole. Like, should we ban essentially resource management or Inguru? I don't think so. I don't think it's broken. I think we need to adapt, and I think we need to play something that destroys it. Don't ask me what that is. But there's got to be something in our format that absolutely runs through Zoroark GX that we've just not thought about yet. Because Zoroark was good for a while there, but it's kind of ebbed and flowed through the format, as you said. Like, since it came out in Shining Legends, it's been the best card in the format. I don't doubt that, but we've seen decks run over it. Like, we used to play Zoroark Galissapod, then that stopped because of this, that, and the next. Malamar started taking in... Marshadow started taking in... Malamar started taking in Marshadow. Man, that was hard to say. To make the Zoroark matchup pretty reasonable. And even like Roadblock Sudowoodo, all that sort of stuff. These cards have to start coming back into our sets. They have to come back into our decks so that we can beat this. Like, Roadblock Sudowoodo might not be enough to get past this Zoroark Control deck, but it's a start. I bet nobody else played Roadblock Sudowoodo. Do you know what I mean? Like,
there's two kind of counters, I suppose, that spring to mind. The first one is, I believe it was Ian Robb, 11th overall. I saw him on stream playing Buzzwole, Alolan Ninetales, and I'm sure it was Zoroark he was playing against. I can't remember who he was playing against, but he ran through it. He absolutely slaughtered it because he's playing 4 Buzzwole GX, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's just so quick, and he's hitting things for weakness. He's always got the sort of beast ring turn to fall back on as well. The Diancie, all the damage modifiers, something like that can outspeed it and hit for weakness, is one way of directly countering that. And the other thing that some of these lists, and I can't remember which ones off the top of my head, but a few of them were playing Girafarig.
Alex Schemanske.
Was it Schemanske that was playing it?
He played Zoroark. He played Buzzwole GX, Lycanroc, Ninetales GX, with one of Girafarig to put 2 cards from your opponent's discard pile into the Lost Zone, which is absolutely hilarious.
It's who would have thought that Girafarig would have got Schemanske 5th overall?
Yeah,
something like that. Who would have thought that would have been in the deck that got 5th at an internationals? I mean, it's insane. But when you actually think about
Girafarig's big. I mean, I was surprised the Zoro Controls didn't have their own, to be honest.
I think
it seems like the sort of thing that you'd have in that kind of deck, or a pure stall deck.
It would help for the meta.
And I think it may have been the guy that got disqualified may have played the Girafarig in his list. I'm not sure. I've seen it somewhere in a control variant, and I cannot remember who it was. I'm desperately looking.
It's a cool wee tech, man, and those like Zoroark lists are playing like a lot of 1 and 2 of. So you like 1 max potion, for example, 1 pal pad to then recycle 2 supporters, 1 Guzma, 1 Acerola, 2 Flameria, 2 Skullgrunt. So they've obviously like built a lot of space in the deck by cutting down on things.
So sorry to interrupt. Riley Hulbert that finished 17th. He played Zoro Control with, now this was quite a spicy tech as well. He played Shuckle GX. He played one of Girafarig, right, with the Get Lost attack, and he also played 2 Metal Energy, right? And I looked at this list and I was like, why is he playing 2 Metal Energy? That's utter madness. You would at least play Psychic Energy so that you can maybe use like a Tapu Cure or a 2 Dark Energy so that you can maybe use Zoroark's GX attack. No, he played 2 Metal Energy and 1 copy of Mount Coronet. Now, I'm sorry, but that's awesome. Because then as soon as your opponent starts discarding the energy off of you, you just bring them back.
He was also playing Champions Festival.
He played a one-off Champions Festival, yeah. I think it's maybe just to get round Shrine of Punishment damage.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it's kind of weird, but
that's insane. Like, fair play to the guy playing Champions Festival.
17th overall, Champions Festival, 2 Metal Energies, and the Girafarig to boot. What a weird deck. And the Shuckle, the Shuckle was in there as well. Yeah. It's kind of like deflating to me to see like the Zoro Control variant win again, but I don't think that this is going to be the one deck to rule them all. I think it's going to be like the one deck to rule for now, and then we'll get a new one. We always get a new one. We always get a new deck. There'll be something. Quick note, while we're talking about the next deck, which is Granbull, and we have to apologise to Al because we took the mick out of Al when we said that Granbull was going to be competitive. And look at this, it got 2nd place, technically. And the best player, arguably, in the world, Tord Reklev, decided to leave those Zoroarks behind. And he adopted a couple of good boys for this tournament as well and came across 9th place, bubbled out. Then someone got kicked out. Suddenly, Tord Reklev's 8th place and is the first player to win top 8 at every international. He's won 3 of the internationals. He's got top 8 at this one. Absolutely insane effort from Tord Reklev. And that is taking Granbull to what I thought was going to be its highest height, but Nicholas Galaz beat him to it and managed to get technically 2nd place with a very, very similar list. He did play the Blitzel Zeb Striker line and dropped 1 Fairy Energy and some other cards to do that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, Granbull is actually pretty good by the looks of things.
I have to be honest here, I'm disappointed in Tord that he didn't take down the full tournament. But I'm even more disappointed. I'm even more disappointed that he didn't play Granbull Zoroark. Where was the Zoroark?
Granbull Zoroark.
If anybody could make it work, it was him. What did people say when he played Zoroark Gardevoir?
Yeah. Well, I remember what some people said. Some people said, I tried that.
Hey, I won a league challenge with that deck before Tord played it.
Oh, dear.
No, but Granbull is, I mean, take a bow, Al. Honestly, like, before the set dropped, you're like, Granbull's my boy, I'm going for Granbull. And you were right. Of all the Lost Thunder stuff that we've been talking about, that's the one that's done the best.
Yeah, it's like I said. It's like I've been saying all along. He's a good boy.
So nonchalant. Yeah, and what? I was right. I knew it.
He is a good boy.
Did you see Tord's tweet? I believe he went 9-1-4. And did you see his tweet about the only deck that he lost to in the whole tournament?
Yes, I did.
Quad Registeel.
What you have to think about though, right? He came across the Quad Registeel deck in the 4th round. The thing was 3-0. The thing went 4-0. It was Quad Registeel with Delmise.
Delmise, yeah. Somebody obviously thought this tournament is going to be full of Granbull and full of Guardy.
He played Guardy the first 2 rounds, and he played Guardy. He played Gardevoir round 1 and 2. He played Tord round either 3 or 4. So yeah, he had weakness on at least 3 out of his 4 first matches.
Fair play to that guy,
when
man.
you start thinking about the numbers, it makes so much sense. Like, the first attack does 30 damage. You get 1 Delmise in play. It's knocking out every 70 HP Snubble you've got. And then Granbull will fall quite happily to the second attack for 90 damage. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's quite an easy deck to run if you're going to just play Granbull all day. And then, Gardevoir hates it to begin with. So, like, we've seen back in the London Internationals, people were playing Metal Box with Silvally just because Gardevoir was going to be so popular. And then Tord won that with Zoroark. Yeah. So Zoroark said no on that day too. But yeah, I did see that tweet, and that is absolutely insane that is a thing. I'd love to see the deck list for that.
So would I, yeah. It'd be really interesting.
But yeah, Granbull, man. Take a bow, Al. Next deck we're going to mention, just briefly, because there's a couple of different variants of this, is Alolan Ninetales GX. That was my pick going into this whole thing as something that was going to really make an impact. It was the card that I bought because I thought this is going to get more expensive. And Alolan Ninetales with Decidueye and Zoroark managed to make it to 3rd place. It also, with Buzzwole, made it to 5th place, and with Gardevoir, made it to 12th place. And 11th place as well with Buzzwole. Yep. It was very, very well received. There was a lot of different variants. It was like Zoroark, Ninetales insert stage 2 a lot of the time. Ninetales stage 2 deck was pretty much the theme, and it's really, really cool. There's a lot of cool deck lists coming out of this. What is your guys' favourite Ninetales build coming out of this list?
Robin Schulz, 12th overall.
I would definitely agree with that.
I think I like the 4th place one. That's Zoroark, Decidueye, Ninetales GX. That doesn't run any Ninetales GX. It came in right after Zoroark, Decidueye, Ninetales one. It's right next to it in 3rd place.
Yep, just miss it out to the superior list with the Ninetales in it. But yeah, Ninetales GX, really, really cool card, allowing you, when you evolve up, to just grab 2 items from your deck and play them. Mainly used in these decks to grab either Rare Candy or B-String. That was the kind of the mindset going into this. And I am choking to play some of these different lists, but I think the reason me and Ian both mentioned the Robin Schulz list, the current world champion, he teched in a 101 line of Solgaleo GX, the one that turbos energy onto the bench, and it's really, really cool, man. It takes away your weakness for a start for all your Pokemon in play. So suddenly that big glaring steel type weakness you've got is now gone, and then Turbo Strike 120 attached to basic energy cards from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon, of course. With Gardevoir, that's really, really nice to get all those fairy energies back into play. And I mean, it just makes sense. It's a really, really cool tech. It attacks for double colorless energy, so you don't even need to put metal energy in your deck. There's got to be some cool things we can do with this card, man. This Alolan Ninetales is busted. It just makes everything cool. Makes everything good.
Robin's list is just so cool, man. It's not often that you see decks running 25 trainers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're usually over the 30 mark in the number of trainers you're playing. Yeah, 22 Pokemon. It's such an insane number.
Yeah.
And when 4 of those trainers are Realm's Lecture, Professor Bridget, I mean,
yeah,
come on, it just looks so cool when you actually look at the list.
And he makes good sense of his Ditto Prism Star as well, opting to play 1 Marshtomp, 1 Kirlia,
yeah,
as well as all the stage 1 Pokemon. So You would think it would just be in there for something like a Alolan Vulpix to evolve, possibly a Ralts to evolve, but he even puts the Marshturb in there so that even Mudkip can evolve. Or you can use the Ditto Prism as a Mudkip. The only thing he can't evolve with it is Cosmog, or like he can't substitute a Cosmog for it because he does not play Cosmoem. But Ditto Prism Star, once again, showing how freaking awesome it is. And that is a nice list, man. I'm choking to try that, but I think Zoroark Decidueye Ninetales is probably going to be my favourite out of them. I think Zoroark. I played Zoroark, or I played Decidueye Ninetales already, and I think it did lack a bit of draw support. So having the Zoroark GX in there is going to be really, really nice. But the Alolan Ninetales, it's good. I promise. There's no Granbull.
Yeah, but you need it when the list works without it, apparently.
Well, Zoroark Decidueye is not a deck that I'd say was a bad deck in any way, shape, or form. It's obviously fantastic, but just having that searchability of item cards is a lot of fun. Quick look at number 7, Zach Lesage's list. Blacephalon made it to top 8. And I kind of thought it would. I kind of thought Blacephalon was going to do a little bit better. I actually wouldn't have been surprised if Blacephalon took the entire tournament.
I have been playing this deck a lot over the past few days online. A lot. I started out with very close to, I want to say it was Caleb Gedimer who put it up on Pokebeach. And since Ian Lesage's list, I've sort of made a few changes from the original Gedimer list. So I'm not playing quite the same thing that he's playing. For example, he played 2 choice helmets, which was a cool idea, and I totally understand where he's come from with it. I don't think you necessarily need it. So I've got this list online, and I think I'm currently something like 25-6 with it.
Jeez.
It's like I've dropped a handful of games and I have dominated tons of other ones, including beating, I think I'm 2-1 against Granbull.
Wow.
I've been taking down Granbulls, I've been destroying Zoroarks, I've been taking down Guardies, I've played some Shrine decks, I've been taking down those. The deck is legit. It's so good.
It does look good, I must admit. I did see seen a couple on stream, and I seen how important the B-string turn is with this deck. There was a Zoroark, I think it was a Ninetales Decidueye player or something along those lines. Maybe Zoroark was in there. And they played around the B-string turns and crippled the opponent. So even having Decidueye with a weakness, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. Like the deck eventually lost to like what it's meant to have super effective damage against because of basically losing out in the B-string turns.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's something you would agree with, if it's that important.
The B-string turns are very, very important. If you look at Lesage's list, one of the things that he's playing in here is 4 Cynthia, 3 Sophocles.
Yes.
Caleb Gedimer's list on Pokebeach was playing 1 Cynthia and 4 Sophocles. And I'm not a fan of Sophocles at all, but in this deck I think it's really good because you do just want to amass the hand size so you can hoard the B-strings. The turn is really, really important. But I've found that even if you don't quite pull it off, you can still still win matches with it.
It's basically down to getting 2 energy on Blacephalon, right? Because then all you do is you get your fuel energy on your Naganadels, and you get the energy to attack on a Blacephalon. Yeah, that's more or less the thought process there.
This is one of the changes that I've made here. I play multi-switch in mine.
Yeah, I can see that being a decent.
The things I've seen are suggesting like a kind of 1 to 2. I'm only playing 1 currently. I've tried it with 2. I don't think it needs 2. Because, as I say, like I'm playing the 4 Sophocles, 1 Cynthia at the minute, and then 3 Lily.
If you're mostly running just basic energy anyway, why don't you just play normal energy switch?
Because I thought about playing energy switch, but the thing is, there is zero reason to play energy switch. It doesn't give you anything that multi-switch doesn't. So, for example, like one of the arguments for playing energy switch would be that you play the energy switch down to move the energy to the Blacephalon while it's on the bench, and then you would instruct to try and find the Guzma that you need at that point, and that's one fewer card in your hand. But this deck doesn't play anything like Oranguru. There's no reason to try and thin down your hand. So you find the Guzma, you play the Guzma, and then you play the multi-switch to get it onto Blacephalon when he's in the active. There's no advantage to doing it in another way. But the advantage of playing multi-switch is it lets you move the Beast Energy Prism.
Yeah.
Which is the kind of the key reason that I'm playing it. Now, as I play with it more, maybe I'll find that I do want to switch when it's on the bench, but I haven't found a situation, and I've been thinking a lot about it, and I haven't thought of a situation in which I would want to play the energy switch onto the bench first for any particular reason.
Choice bands in your list?
I have just put in one choice band, because this is part of the issue with it. One of the things that I've found occasionally is that when you come up against, say, Zoroark with 210 HP, if you have to discard 5 energy, a lot of the time you're discarding the 2 energy off the Blacephalon.
Yeah.
And you want to try and keep at least 1 on there if you can. So that's why I've got the choice band. And Beast Energy is essentially another choice band.
Makes sense, man.
So the problem is the list's tight on space because you need to balance setting up the Naganados with kind of augmenting the damage with other things. So it's kind of a balancing act.
Your theme deck levels of energy.
Yeah. So like Lesage's list plays 16 and fire and 1 beast. Gedimer's was 17 and 1 beast. I've dropped down to 16 and 1 beast.
Yeah, 16 seems fine.
Yeah. The kind of the theory behind it is if you have to knock out 6 non-GX Pokemon, 150 every time is going to do the job. So you discard 3 energy 5 times, gets you 5 prizes, and then
use Naganadel.
and you can, and then you can use Blacephalon's GX attack, or you can take a knockout with discarding the Beast Energy. Just so we're all clear in this, online, when you do Mind Blown and discard the Beast Energy, the 30 extra damage stays on.
Yeah.
Jacob, that is right, isn't it? That's not a glitch online.
What do you mean? Sorry.
Right, so Blacephalon's attack, you discard energy, and the attack does 50 times the amount of fire energy that you discard. So you put into the loss zone, right? So you discard Beast Energy Prism Star, which counts as a fire energy when it's on him, and then you still get the 30 extra damage from the Beast Energy, even though you're discarding it. That's right, isn't it?
Let's see, I would need to double check what the
wording
on Beast Energy.
The wording is put any amount of fire energy attached to your Pokemon
on the beast
in the Lost Zone. This attack does 50 damage for each card you put in the Lost Zone in this way. It kind of reads like it shouldn't count, but
Beast Energy says, while this card is attached to an Ultra Beast, it provides every type of energy, but provides only 1 energy at a time. The attacks the Ultra Beast the card is attached to do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon.
So it counts as a fire, which is fine.
Yeah.
But it's...
See, the thing is, because it says when this is attached, technically if you've discarded it, then it's not attached anymore.
But the damage is calculated before, is it not?
Nobody knows how Blacephalon works. It's a mystery. Nobody even knows how to play the deck. That's why you didn't come first.
I think, if I'm being honest, if you kept the Beast Energy on but discarded all other, you would get your 30 plus. But if you're discarding the Beast, because the Beast Energy specifically says when this card is attached, it provides the energy. But
it works.
You calculate damage before you do the effects on the card.
The effect of the attack is discard your energy. So you discard the energy first. It then takes into account how many energy you've discarded to then times it by 50. So you've already discarded the cards to then times it by however many.
Yeah.
So I I want to say no.
It works with discarding strong energy, or it worked with discarding strong energy in the past, that you still got the 20 bonus on it. So this should work the same way.
Yeah.
It's like the animation on it when you use it online, I'm pretty sure would attack, then discard the stuff or send it to the lost zone.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I don't know if that's correct.
The way I understand it is when you use the attack, you declare the number of energy you are discarding.
Yeah.
And then the damage is calculated.
Yes,
then
and
the
then
energy
it
is
goes.
discarded.
Yeah, I think that might
That's
be right.
how I understand it to work.
Yeah.
So in which case the energy would be on when the damage is done, then the discard happens.
Right, okay.
But either way, it's definitely letting you do it online. And I haven't seen anything about people saying it's not allowed or anything like that. There's been a lot of argument about it, but I haven't seen anybody saying it's like a glitch or anything.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that is the way it should read, and I think my interpretation is it should be that way. I don't know if there's been an official ruling yet, but if one does come down, we'll see. But my understanding is that it does work.
See, I'm sort of on the fence with it, because I think if I was in the moment and I was judging a game, I probably would. I would say yes, it does. But see, after having read everybody's different opinions on it, I can see reasons for and reasons against. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like actually having a discussion of it, I can see why it should and why it shouldn't work. But at the same time, my automatic assumption at the time was yes, it should still apply the 30 extra for your beast.
Fair enough. Well, as far as I'm concerned, that's the ruling I'm going with until it's changed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And until you learn otherwise. Like, if it works online, I would just go with it.
Not that online's like a perfect reference, obviously, but
more or less.
Yeah.
Not when you can max elixir to the active.
Quick note before we talk about the last of the kind of new decks to come out. Rayquaza Vikavolt is not dead. Rayquaza Vikavolt managed to get a 9th place finish, and it also finished 26th. So, and it finished 28th. So, like, Ray Vikavolt is definitely not going anywhere. It's definitely still kicking around. And I'm guessing it never had a massive showing because a lot of people were pretty down on this deck beforehand. So I'm pretty glad to see that it's still kicking around, considering I just got my playset. So I'm a happy bunny.
It's a nice list. When you look at it, it's got that 1 Zeraora GX in it. It's got 2 Delmais, which is really cool as well. I'm
just surprised it actually did so well. I think it's a lot of luck with Ray because you have to blind discard some stuff. But yeah, it's still there. And I'm happy. Like, I'm just happy about that. I got my playset, so I can actually finally play that deck. We've seen one other kind of new deck. There was a couple other new cards kicking about. But the one new deck that we did see, it finished all the way down at 61st place, and that was Lost March. We've actually got a Lost March deck in this tournament, and it's pretty weird looking. It plays a 1/1 Machoke line, which I don't think is right. It plays 3 Professor Elm's Lecture, which I don't think is right. It plays a couple of Great Ball. It plays 3 Lost Blender, which I don't think's right. Who am I to say otherwise? But it plays weird numbers of everything and suddenly managed to still get 61st place. Lost March still must have legs, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, like, the thing that jumps out at me about it, first of all, was 3 Natu, 3 double colorless. Why are you trying to limit your attackers? That seems weird. But like, I quite like the Machoke thing because like spread destroys it. So
you need it to not automatically lose certain matchups.
And there was a lot of Malamar Coco stuff.
Yeah. The one thing I would say though is, right, it plays 3 Lost Blenders. What are you Lost Blendering? you have not enough attackers to get you through the entire game. You've got 4 jump lofts and 3 Natus, and that assumes that one isn't prized. Like, what are you lost blendering?
Yeah.
Hop up and Skiploom do it all themselves. You might need one lost blender to get rid of like excess of Hop-Ups or Skiplooms or jump lofts if like something is prized in that 4 of.
Or the matchup Machoke, I guess, if you don't need them for a matchup, you lost blender that away. But you're right, like one blender, maybe 2 at a push.
I think 2 is the count. I would probably argue 2 blender would be the count. But I would max out on something like a Natu and then blender one of them.
You'd also want to see more than one rescue stretcher, I think, because like you need to try and get your Natus.
Yeah,
you know, if they're going, because you can't get jump lofts back, obviously, and jump lofts more difficult to set up because it's a stage 2. And yeah, you've got the ability, but it's just more likely you're going to prize a piece of it. Whereas Natu is a lot simpler to get going.
You can technically get a jump loft back if, for example, you've prized one.
Yeah.
Or had to like discard one or lost blender one early in the game to maybe make a knockout or something. So you can get a jump loft back and evolve a Skiploom, but it's just not that good. Like, you just don't want to be doing that. Like, surely you drop a lost blender and go to 4 Natu. Surely you drop 1 or maybe even 2 Great Ball and get another double colorless in there and probably another rescue stretcher, like you said. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's such a weird.
He needs Great Ball.
It's the best ball.
It's a good. No, it's way better than Timer Ball.
Well, yeah,
he's only 2 of those. So
I like the Timer Ball in this because if you get 2 Skiploom off of it, turn 2 or something like that, and you can evolve them up. And
just don't like Timer Ball.
Just nah.
But you've got no luck with coin. With coin flip, so that's another issue.
Listen, I hit 5 tails of 5 super scoop ups. I'm telling you, Timer Ball's bad card.
You start rolling days, buddy. But yeah, really, really weird Lost March list. But surely this is a good sign for Lost March that a kind of weird list managed to make it into the day 2. Do you know what I mean? Like, surely.
Well, maybe this is the ultimate optimized list, and we just don't understand how it works.
Maybe it is. Maybe it's like big brain Lost March, and I'm just not thinking about it.
Like, the thing is, if this is the best Lost March is doing right now, how much does the list really like? This list, okay, it's a bit quirky, but in general, like the core of the deck doesn't really change that much.
It's gonna win Worlds.
Like, I don't know what's going to come out in future sets that might offer it a wee bit more support, but
Worlds.
Like, do you know the other thing about this deck that I found really strange? Why is it playing 1 super boost?
Shuckle.
Of course. Yeah. Of course, that makes perfect sense.
Because as it stands, it basically counts as a grass energy. So it provides a colorless energy. When attached to stage 2 Pokemon, it provides every type of energy, but only provides 1 at a time. Yeah. So even if it's a stat, anytime it's attached to a jump loft, it's a grass energy. That's fine. Even if there isn't like 2 in play. And then if you have 3 or more, it provides every type of energy, but it provides 4 at a time.
Yeah.
So it gets round to your Shuckles.
Yeah. That's a nice.
And the only other
card,
way you
like
can knock out Shuckles is like grass DCE on a jump bluff or something like that.
Yeah,
that would still work. But this just makes that a little bit easier.
Yeah,
but
I like that.
That's literally it.
That's nice.
Literally it. So technically, you could even drop a grass instead of dropping a DCE.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why it plays 3 DCE. It's boggling my brain. Barring that, and I know we've been going on for a while now. Barring that, there wasn't anything crazy new to come out. We did see plenty of Zoroarks. There was a few Malamar, nothing crazy. A lot of Malamar spread, but as far as like Malamar, Necrozmas, Marshadows, we didn't see a whole lot of that. 1 or 2 in the day 2 at least. We saw some Buzzwole, we saw some Lycanrocs, some Zoroark Lycanrocs. Nothing too crazy, but it was nice to see a bunch of new decks get like right up there in the top. 2 through 7.
Quick shout out to number 18, a deck we were talking about before we come on.
Of course, yeah. That's a shame we don't have a deck list for that yet. Yeah, go ahead.
Number 18, Simeon Tapu, Baby Coco, Gustavo Wada, and also finished 23rd with Lucas Henrique de Arroyo Pereira.
Nope.
Apologies for that terrible pronunciation.
Nope, you messed that up.
but yeah, Persimmon, man. I mean, where did that come from?
Persimmon Coco, yeah. Actually, it was on stream. I can't remember who was playing it. It might have actually been Gustavo Wada that was playing it, and it was not bad. Yeah, there was a lot of cool little quirks that had going for it, and definitely worth a look. I'd like to see the deck list. It's not been posted on Limitless TCG yet. So yeah, if you want to see any of these deck lists, by the way, I'm sure Jacob will have a field day putting some of them up. But limitlesstcg.com, and then just click on the tournaments part, and then we're basically reading off of that tonight. That's what we're doing. So yeah, go and check out the list, and let us know in the comments if you decide to play any of the lists that we've talked about tonight. I'm ready to wrap it up. I don't know about you guys. Is there anything else you guys want to say before we go?
I do actually have one thing.
Go on then.
If that's okay.
Of course.
Just talking about judge calls. Ian, we had an issue on Thursday. Or I say issue, it wasn't an issue.
That was definitely an issue.
Where I wanted to use Necrozma's attack for 3 energy, which I would then discard to do the attack, but obviously you had Shuckle GX, right? Mm-hmm. I have done my research. Okay. And I know we both agreed that the attack would go through, but obviously there was some we weren't sure. So I've done my research. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, the attack would still go through because I announced my attack, I have 3 energy. Just because I then discard the energy, I've already met the requirements for Shuckle's 3 energy requirement.
So that goes back to the Blacephalon call we were talking about earlier as well.
Yeah,
so you've the same kind of idea.
Announced the attack. So I don't know why you would discard your beast energy right enough, but just to confirm, the Necrozma GX to discard energy to do 60 per psychic does go through, as long as you get the 3 energy to begin with.
Yeah, as you say, that's what we said anyway, so it's hardly a surprise there that it goes through.
I just wanted you to know, I did my homework.
No. I trust you, don't worry.
But anyway, but apart from that, no, I hope you guys have had a fabulous week. I've had fun, so...
Yeah, and we roll on to next week in the hope that Zoroark GX actually lets us play the game. Apart from that, guys, thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Bye.